Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and this is just a really quick update on the Amstrad PCW project. And it's just to say, thanks to one of my absolutely awesome viewers, I now have a keyboard for the project. I was sent a keyboard which is actually in amazing condition. If we look at this, there is like no yellowing on this keyboard at all. It really is in absolutely super condition. So I now have a keyboard for the project. Not only did I get the keyboard, the chap asked me whether there was any other little bits that I needed, and I said, because he was breaking up a PCW for spares, and excuse me, I said, if there's any chance of you breaking them up for spares, whether you would have the keyboard connector. So he very kindly actually sent me the keyboard connector out of the case as well, which is really handy because I wasn't aware it had these two diodes on it. So I would have probably just got a 4-pin DIN like that and connected it up to a connector. But no, there's a couple of little diodes on there, so that board again, incredibly useful. Not only that, he also gave me a set of PCW discs. So I've got CPM Plus, what have we got on the other side of that? And we've got LocalScript, so we've got CPM Plus and LocalScript on that disc. And we have Dr. Logo and Help and some programming utilities on that disc. So this is absolutely brilliant. We actually have some proper software to test this thing. Now, with this, seeing I knew I was getting this keyboard, and he posted it off to me like at the weekend, and I literally got this yesterday. First time I've had a chance to actually do anything with it because I've been rather busy, but yeah, it arrived super fast as well, and he didn't want any payment for it. It was absolutely fantastic. I'm really over the moon with this. That's exactly what I was wanting. So what I've done, that little board that I showed you last time that I made to get the video out, what I've done a little bit of modification. This is basically how I was getting power into the Amstrad PCW board. I was backfeeding it through the keyboard connector. Obviously now I've got a keyboard, that isn't the most ideal solution, but I still needed 5 volts to this board to power the little video buffer circuit that I built. So what I've done, I've left the 2 connectors which I made last time, so one's for video and one's for keyboard, and I've added a little 4-pin connector at the end. So now basically what happens is 5 volts now goes from a little switch mode power supply here, which also powers the disk drive, and that goes straight into the PCW's main board. Basically what I found, let me just see if I can move some of these bits aside. I don't upset everything too much, because I do have it all nicely set up at the moment. I am playing. But basically on the PCW's main board there, next to where the proper power connector is, there was 4 blank pads on the board, and 2 of those pads, the first 2 is ground and plus 5 volts. So I just sucked the solder out and basically added a little connector there, so we can plug 5 volts straight into the board. That then goes through to the keyboard connector, which I've tapped 5 volts off then to drive the video amplifier, and then basically the keyboard just connects at the end there. And this does seem to work okay. I can basically I can plug the keyboard connector in there. I can then plug the keyboard in like that. So if you look there, I don't know if you can see, we have the main board with my 2 connections there. Like I said, that's keyboard and that's video, to my little board which is the video buffer board, and then the keyboard connects off that with the clock data plus 5 volts and ground through the little PCB that I have been sent with the DIN connector on to the PCW keyboard. So that side should all be nice and happy and hunky-dory now. The only thing so far is I've not actually got it to boot yet, and I've got a horrible feeling that it's probably an issue with this disk drive. Now, this disk drive isn't a PCW disk drive, it's actually an Amstrad CPC disk drive. Not that that should matter, because I really don't think there's very much of a difference, especially not on the earlier Amstrad PCWs, the 8256s and 8512s, because they still used a single-sided 3-inch disc. I believe the later, the last of the PCWs that used the 3-inch disc, it was actually a double-sided disc, as in it had two heads and it could read one side and then read the other, as where with these you had to flip the disc over. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure that's right, but I think someone did mention that the very, very late ones actually use a slightly different disk drive. The front cover on them is also beige rather than black. I'm pretty sure these are exactly the same as a CPC. The PCW and the CPC do basically use the same disk drive. I think the only actual difference was some used an edge connector on the end, where some used a pin connector. Now, I'm pretty sure my CPC 6128 has the same pin connector as this has. I'll show you what it's doing now and why I think there's actually a fault with this drive rather than a fault elsewhere in the computer. I mean, there could still be. We'll take the boot disk. I have cleaned the heads on this drive, and it does have a brand new belt in it. Which the main problem with these usually is a failed drive belt. Let's get the CPM disc. We'll stick CPM in. We'll switch on. You can see the screen boots up. But if we go down onto the disk drive, it's doing exactly what it did when I was just trying some random CPC discs. It basically, the disc spins, the disc is fully in there, but what it doesn't seem to be doing is, and then it just times out like that, it doesn't seem to be seeking at all. Because if you watch this, what I can do, I'm not going to do it with this disc in, because this is a no, you know, these hopefully are good discs. I will put a disc which I know is of no use in the drive, just to show this. Just bear with me a sec there, that's one that I don't think is of any consequence. Now, on a working drive, what should happen? It should always seek to 0. So if we move if we step the head out, basically like this, the first thing that should happen when you power the computer on is it should seek the disk head to 0. So it basically should come back here and find track, move back to track 0. Now if we power up, it moved. If you saw, I don't know if you could actually see that or not, but the stepper flicked slightly then, and then it just sits there. It's not actually returning the disk back to 0. So I have a feeling we've either got a sensor fault or something else on the drive. It could conceivably be an issue perhaps with the disk controller on the, I'll switch that off. It could conceivably be a fault with like the disk controller on the motherboard, but I think it's probably far more likely there may be an issue with this disk drive. So what I'm going to do, I won't do it now because I've got quite a lot on at the moment. So I was just doing a quick little update video just to show you, well, basically to say awesome thanks to my viewer who sent me the keyboard of these discs and the connector. But like I said, it was just a bit of an overview. So what I think I will do probably before the next video is whip the drive out of my 6128 and stick this drive in and see where I can load some 6128 software using this floppy drive. Obviously this floppy drive fails to load on that computer. We know we've got an issue with this drive, and we're going to have to look at perhaps doing some repair work to this drive before we can go any further. Anyway, I thought I'm going to leave it there for now. So this really was just a quick little video, and it's basically to say an awesome thanks to my my viewer who sent me the keyboard. The absolutely fantastic that they sent me the CPM discs. I mean, I will probably convert to a 3.5 inch drive on this eventually, but it is so nice to have some discs that I can actually play with for the time being. And obviously also sending me that connector out of the case, which has made connecting this whole thing up so much better and easier. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. You will be seeing this computer again because I've got an idea. I don't know if it's going to work out, but I've got a slightly harebrained mad idea for this computer and some other bits and bats to build something rather cool for the workshop. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Thanks for watching and goodbye.